This is Mac OS Ken.
App Store attacks and lawsuits aplenty, a bit of beta and software news, and saying goodbye to my Mac founder Tim Robertson. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of July, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Still catching up from a week of missed news. Apple is still appealing late April's Fortnite ruling. A little over a week ago, Apple Insider said the Cupertino company had taken its case to the Ninth Circuit Court. Apple asked the court to undo the unduly punitive mandate set by Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers. That was the mandate that said Apple had to loosen link-out restrictions in apps and on the App Store. It also said that Apple could not charge a commission on app sales made outside the App Store. Not only are those orders unduly punitive in Apple's words, they are also fundamentally unfair. According to Apple Insider, several requests of the Ninth Circuit Court were made, including throwing out the new injunction, reversing a civil contempt finding, and reassigning the case to a new judge if the case goes back to the district court. Now, like the blobs in a lava lamp, look for this story to light up, bubble up, settle down, and do it all over again forever. These appeal processes can take months, even years, according to Apple Insider. Quite possibly gumming up the App Store works for Apple is the U.S. Senate. Engadget ran a piece late last week that had a bipartisan group of senators reintroducing a bill to open Apple's App Store and the Google Play Store to sideloading and third-party payment systems. I have never owned an Android phone, but aren't there already sideloading and third-party payment systems on the Google side? Wasn't that the whole blessed point? Anyway, the piece says the bill, called the Open App Markets Act, was originally introduced in 2021, but it never came up for a vote after passing through the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2022. Like the original bill, Engadget says the reintroduced legislation wants covered companies to allow things like sideloading, third-party app stores, and alternative payment systems, while protecting developers' ability to tell customers about lower prices and offer competitive pricing. It would also prevent App Store operators from privileging their own apps and services in App Store search results. Not surprisingly, Apple is not into the idea. Engadget had a spokesperson for the Cupertino company saying, "We created the App Store to be a safe and trusted experience our users love and a fantastic business opportunity for developers in the US and around the world. We face intense competition everywhere we operate, and we are proud to be an engine for innovation and economic growth. We are concerned this EU-style regulation will open our users to new privacy and security risks, and will continue to advocate on their behalf." Also working to gum up the App Store works for Apple, it's the Department of Justice. 9to5Mac ran a piece this week saying a New Jersey U.S. District Judge has rejected Apple's motion to dismiss a DOJ case accusing the company of illegally maintaining dominance in the U.S. smartphone market. The case was brought in March of last year by the Justice Department and 16 state attorneys general and the nation's capital. According to the piece, the DOJ argues that Apple makes it unnecessarily difficult for users to switch to competing platforms and just as hard for rivals to compete, especially in areas like messaging, smartwatches, digital wallets, and cloud services that go head-to-head with core iPhone features. In trying to have the case dismissed, Apple argued that its developer rules are about user security and platform integrity, not market dominance. Responding to this week's decision, Apple said it believes the lawsuit is wrong on the facts and the law, and that it will continue to vigorously fight it in court. The developers behind Proton Mail are suing Apple, and you will never guess why. A piece from 9 to 5 Mac says the proposed class action filed Monday in California claims Apple has eliminated competition and extracted supra-competitive profits from app developers through a web of exclusionary content. Proton says the lawsuit represents millions of iOS developers who are subject to what it calls Apple's stranglehold over how apps are distributed and how payments are processed on iOS, and requests a jury trial to decide the claims. Another suit over Apple's lack of a smarter Siri. A piece from Mac Rumors from right after I went away a week and a few days ago says Apple's being sued by one of its shareholders over the delay in making Siri smarter. According to the report, the complaint alleges that Apple made false statements related to the more personalized version of Siri that it previewed during its WWDC 2024 keynote. The complaint alleges that these actions hurt the company's stock price and thereby harmed shareholders. Unbeknownst to investors, says the suit, Apple lacked a functional prototype of these advanced AI-based Siri features at the time of the 2024 WWDC and had no reasonable basis to believe it could deliver the product it was advertising within the iPhone 16 product cycle, if ever. Part of the complaint uses the Daring Fireball post that had that site's John Gruber describing the WWDC 24 Siri features as being a concept video rather than anything that worked in any capacity. The suit seeks class action status. No comment on it from Apple. Apple's parade of OS betas rolls on. A piece from Mac Rumors on Monday had Apple releasing the second developer betas of iOS and iPadOS 18.6, macOS 15.6, watchOS 11.6, tvOS 18.6, and visionOS 2.6. Knowing that we're going to blank OS 26 really does make all the rest of that sound dumb now, doesn't it? After all that happened on Monday, less than 24 hours later, another piece from Mac Rumors hit, saying the company had seeded the second public betas of iOS and iPadOS 18.6, as well as macOS 15.6. If you're in the public testing program, you know what to do. If you're not but wish you were, there is testing fun to be had at beta.apple.com. For the artistic types out there, a piece from Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has updated Pixelmator Pro. In the first major update since it was acquired by Apple, the piece says the Pixelmator Pro image editor for Mac has added features for pros with more RAW support, plus Image Playground from Apple Intelligence. The update is free for existing users. Pixelmator Pro will run new buyers $49.99 in the Mac App Store. The Apple Sports app has received another update. Midweek last week, TechCrunch said the latest version of the mobile app brought a redesigned home screen experience as well as coverage for tennis. While the changes were timed to hit just ahead of Wimbledon, it sounds like the coverage goes pretty deep. According to the report, users will now be able to access live tennis scores for Grand Slam and 1,000 level tournaments and can track every point across all men's and women's singles matches. Fans can also stay updated on a player's progress throughout tournaments and get results from every match from the first round through the finals. So we are not ending the show the way we normally do. It's been weird coming back. Last week, I was kayaking with otters. This week, a friend of mine died. Now, before you say anything or even think anything, he wasn't a close friend. And I really don't like that part. I met Tim Robertson, founder of MyMac. Honestly, I don't remember how long ago. It was at Macworld in San Francisco, so I know it was over 10 years, probably closer to 12 or 13. I sometimes felt like a poser at Macworld, but Tim made me feel not only like I belonged there, but like I was central to it. Reading comments online, I know he made a lot of people feel the same way about themselves. Kind of a superpower that he had. In addition to news and articles posted at mymac.com since the late 1990s, I think, Tim shepherded the MyMac podcasting network, including such shows as Geeks Pub, Geekiest Show Ever, Tech Fan, and of course, the MyMac podcast. On Mastodon yesterday, Peter Cohen posted, confirmed with the family Tuesday morning that MyMac founder Tim Robertson passed away after a recent illness. Tim was not just a mainstay of Apple blogging, podcasting, and smart analysis for decades, says Peter, but one of the very nicest people I've ever met. Even though we hadn't collaborated on anything in years, says Peter, we still talk from time to time just to stay in touch because that's the kind of guy Tim was. I'll miss him. Personally, I've pulled back a lot from the socials over the past couple of years, so I didn't know Tim was sick until he was really sick. I reached out, but didn't hear back. I assumed because he was busy trying to get well, which I assumed he would do. He was a better person than most, is what I posted on Mastodon. He radiated support and just good feeling. This news is sad. As TV, radio, and newspapers have given way to the web, social media, and podcasts, the places and people we have in common become more dispersed. People aren't celebrated or sent off or mourned the way they used to be. One day they're just not there. Tim was a good person. He deserves to be remembered. And I am sorry to see him go. We'll keep catching up tomorrow. Take care.